Welcome to Moments in Time with Lucy and Byfield. Today we shall look back on the history of the British Grand Prix. Oh, where do we start with so many British Grands Prix to choose from? Starting way back in 1950 or 1926 if you want to get really specific. But as a round of the official World Championship, it was first hosted in 1950. Over the years, the Brits have fared pretty well, with Jim Clark and Lewis Hamilton winning 5 times, Nigel Mansell 4 times, technically 5, Stirling Moss and David Coulthard and Jackie Stewart winning twice, although Moss did share one of his victories with Tony Brooks. Such were the rules back in the day when you could swap cars mid-race. And let us not forget James Hunt winning in his championship year, only to be stripped of the win after the rabid crowd had demanded he take the restart when not really allowed to. There are many explanations regarding this, but whatever the truth was, Hunt was not going to be restarting after the initial aborted start, but the crowd was so volatile that officials let him race and win, only to strip him of the win later, handing the race to Lauda. He did win the race in 1977 as world champion, so take that. John Watson was to win in 1981, and it turned out to be the first win for a carbon fibre monocoque. Nigel Mansell was to get his first win on home soil in Brands Hatch 85, but it was not called the British Grand Prix, as it was a round named the European Grand Prix. Nige is happy to remind us all that he won 5, not 4 times in Britain, and he is right. Nigel features heavily in the history of this race for so many reasons, be it his first finish of the 88 season in the Williams Judd, an underpowered, unreliable car, but on that rainy day he drove like a demon, even swerving so far to keep his tyres cool that he nearly went off track. What about his retirement antics in 1990 when, after taking pole, retiring with glitches and being beaten by his teammate Prost, he announced that for the first time in his life he was going to put his family first? Terrible there. He started his announcement with, "I'm sorry," anyway. But Frank would tempt him back the following year. How can I not mention 1987? Mansell again, after a pit stop, was so far back from teammate Piquet and the win was gone, or so we thought. In a series of fastest laps, breaking the track record repeatedly, Mansell was to catch, dummy and pass Piquet for the lead. His engine even had a meltdown on the cooling down lap. Amazing sights with the crowd going bananas and invading the circuit. Like him or hate him, Nigel Mansell gave us so much drama and a lot of good memories. Of course, the engine melted down. Oh, so Nigel. My man, Alain Prost, was pretty handy in the UK, winning a record 5 times along with Hamilton and Clark. Prost would win for 4 teams and 4 engines in 83 for Renault, in 85 for McLaren Tag Porsche, in 89 for McLaren Honda, in 90 for Ferrari, and in 93 for Williams Renault. Wow, that is a fantastic feat. Michael Schumacher fans will not like this bit, but for me, one of the greatest disgraces in Formula One history is when Michael Schumacher and his Ferrari team took advantage of a loophole in 1998. Michael, late in the race, was given a drive-through penalty, and at that time the rule was that you had 3 laps to obey. Well, there were 3 laps of the race left, and Michael took his drive-through at the end of the last lap. Technically not a drive-through really, because he didn't go through and did not receive any penalty. He was awarded the race win. What a joke! What a mockery of the great sport we love. Michael and Ferrari were mighty, but they did get involved in one too many controversies over their time together. They usually got away with it, unlike today. Aussies Jack Brabham and Mark Webber shone in the UK too. Black Jack was to win 3 times, and with a strange coincidence, he did so in each of his 3 title-winning years. Webber was to give us a wonderful soundbite in 2010. As he crossed the line, Christian Horner congratulated him, and he replied by saying, "Not bad for a number 2 driver." Now, Adrian Newey explains the precursor to this in his book, but it really was a series of events, including the Turkey race that year, that did convince Mark he was not only battling other drivers and teams and cars, but his own team as they seemingly favoured Vettel. Mark was to get his final Formula One win beating Nando in 2012, and what a fantastic race it was in his Red Bull racing car with that crazy fan pick livery, which was raising money for charity. Oh, and let us not forget AJ Alan Jones winning in 1980 in his title-winning year. In 2013 and 2014, there were to be role reversals of luck for the teammates Hamilton and Rosberg at Mercedes. In 2013, Hamilton was looking on course to get his first win for Mercedes, and he suffered a tyre blowout, something that was alarmingly frequent in that race and also the first half of that year. So Rosberg got his third career win, but in 2014, Lewis was to show a side of his personality, or should I say, sides to his personalities, as he gave up at the end of qualifying, assuming the track was too wet, only to watch Nico Rosberg not give up and take pole. Now Lewis made a big deal of this and gave us all the drama previously reserved for Nigel Mansell. You know, the worst moment of my life kind of stuff. Well, in the race, Nico was leading comfortably and suffered a technical glitch, handing the win to Lewis. So, I guess it was all square after that. Suddenly, Lewis was the strongest, happiest, best version of himself we've ever seen. Let it be known, they both had reliability gremlins in their time as teammates. Some quick random moments. Michael Schumacher broke his leg in '99. Ferrari have won 16 or 17 times depending on how you count it, constructor versus manufacturer. Ayrton Senna was to break down 3 years in a row at the same corner, which ironically in that third year had a banner held up by a fan offering parking for Mr. Senna, a truly hilarious and ironic bit of crowd participation. Rubens Barrichello often shone in Britain, and in 2003 he had a mega ding-dong battle with Kimi Raikkonen, eventually winning and looking every bit a world champion. Juan Pablo Montoya was to get his first of 3 wins for McLaren in 2005. Sterling Moss, to this day, does not know whether he beat Fangio fair and square in 1955 or if Fangio let him win. Fangio, known for his class as well as his talent, was never to affirm this fact, just stating that Moss was the man that day. What about that crazy protester in 2003, or lunatic as James Allen called him, who ran onto the track bringing out the safety car? Look it up, he gets such a good shove and an arm drag from a marshal. Looking back at this, it was way worse than I remembered. In closing, let us remember 1994. Damon Hill, mounting a serious title challenge against Michael Schumacher, was to fill the family trophy room with its one and only British Grand Prix trophy, because his father, Graham, never won there. Now the race was controversial with, of course, Michael Schumacher. Mickey the Shoe was to pass Damon on the warm-up lap. Not allowed. But there was a restart, and guess what? Michael did it again. It was some kind of psychological game. In the end, Damon would win on track, Shuey would come second but later be disqualified. Damon got congratulated by none other than the Princess of Wales, Lady Diana. Well, that's it for Moments in Time. Catch you later.